Buenas tardes a todos. Son las 3:06. Vamos a empezar. Buenas tardes, boa tardes para nuestros las empresas españolas y portuguesas que participan en este webinar organizado por DHL. Hace parte del ciclo de seminarios de webinar que estamos organizando para conocer mejor los destinos emergentes y hace 2 semanas tuvimos uno sobre Argentina, hoy sobre Brasil y seguiremos también en las próximas semanas o con otro sobre Uruguay, también que es uno de los 3 países del Acuerdo Mercosur. Entonces hoy tenemos el placer de tener con nosotros a 2 ponentes de DHL Express Brasil, Rogerio Menegazzi, que es el Telesales Manager de DHL Express Brasil, y Marcus Barros Silva, el Import Manager de aduanas de DHL Brasil. Es decir, que nos van a contar en directo cómo están las oportunidades de negocio de Brasil y en la segunda parte, cómo están hoy las aduanas de Brasil, porque sabemos que es uno de los principales temas al momento de abordar el mercado brasileño. Os recuerdo que en Teams normalmente podéis acceder, si tenéis la versión, podéis tener el webinar estará en inglés y podréis tener la traducción en los subtítulos automática con vuestra versión de Teams. También os recuerdo que tenemos la opción para todas las preguntas que tengáis, por favor utilizar P y R, la que está arriba en las funciones del Teams para poder poner vuestra pregunta y al final de la sesión, tanto Rogerio como Marcus contestarán a las preguntas que pueden ser del mercado como de las especificidades de aduanas en Brasil. Como sabéis todos, a partir del 1 de mayo ya ha empezado la implementación del acuerdo entre la Unión Europea y Brasil de los acuerdos Mercosur. Entonces, muchísimas gracias, Rogerio y Marcus, and thank you both for coming today. And please, Rogerio, the floor is yours.
All right. Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation. It's an honor to be presenting Brazil to all the customers in Spain and Portugal. Just to introduce myself real quick. And first, I'm sorry, my Spanish is not so good, so I'm gonna go ahead with English. And so, my name is Rogerio. I've been with DHL Group for the past 20 years, 15 years with freight forwarding, and now the past 5 years with DHL Express. And together with me, I'm gonna be with Marcos, who Nicolas already mentioned is the import manager for Brazil, very experienced as well. Marcos, would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Yes, thank you, Rogerio. Hi, everyone. So my name is Marcos. I'm the import manager in DHL Express Brazil. I support international trade operations along with customs, keeping focus on compliance and clearance performances within this cooperation framework between Brazil and the European Union. We are preparing our teams. We are getting ready in order to better serve the opportunities between Europe and Brazil. So nice to be here.
All right, thank you. So let's start. So I'm pretty sure you're familiar with these images, right? The tower, Sagrada Familia, and this is our Pão de Açúcar and Cristo. And let's move along. All right, so this is our agenda. We're gonna first start talking about Brazil, just an overview of the country and its size, and we're gonna shift to our trade information between Brazil and other countries, and then we're gonna narrow a little bit down to Portugal and Spain, to then reach out to the phase where we're gonna talk about import process into Brazil. And lastly, present to you our capabilities in DHL Brazil, DHL Express Brazil, and finish with a Q&A. All right. So you can gather all the questions clicking on the Q&A button up there, and we're going to address everything we can. All right. So let's start. Okay. So starting with Brazil overview. Brazil is the fifth largest economy. It's the fifth largest country in terms of territory, and has over 200 million people, and it is the 11th largest economy in the world. It has a strong import market for mainly all sectors. We're a large importing country. So industrial goods, pharma, auto parts, automotive sector is huge in Brazil, industrial equipment, and also food and beverage. So looking at our GDP, we expect to grow 2% this year. And one thing that's happening this year, starting last year, is that the Brazilian currency, the real, has been gaining a lot of value, especially to two reasons. The commodity boom, which is a mix of high demand and high price for oil, soy, and iron ore. And aligned with the interest rates that we have in Brazil, which is one of the highest, it brings great return on financial investments. And it has been attracting investors from all over the world for carry trade. And this has been supporting the valuation of the valorization of our currency. So this is the map of Brazil, and we are divided in 5 macro regions. And what I want to show here is how much each region represents and what it's the main industry in each area. So starting with north, this part here, where Amazonas is, this is where we have the free trade zone of Manaus. It is a very remote area, and this free trade zone was established to develop the region. And there are many multinational companies producing there, like Samsung, Honda motorcycles, Coca-Cola. And moving to the northeast side of Brazil, this area is very known for the tourism, where we have some of the most beautiful beaches in Brazil and also the world, and also is very strong with agriculture, especially fresh fruits. So most of the fresh fruits being shipped out of Brazil to Europe are being produced there. In the Central West region, this is one of the regions with the most accelerated growth in Brazil. It's really strong with agriculture, with soy, cattle, and also energy. The Southeast region, which groups São Paulo, Minas Gerais, Rio, and Espírito Santo, is the largest one in terms of GDP. So it holds almost half of the GDP of Brazil, and it's like our economy powerhouse. And it's strong with manufacturing, banks, oil and gas. It's a very, very strong region. And ending up with the South region, also very strong with agribusiness and manufacturing. Now moving to our trade information. So this is an overview of the main exporters into Brazil based on 2025 numbers, with the total number of exportations, exports, and imports. And when we compare this number with last year, we're growing approximately 4%. And dipping a little bit diver on the main products that we ship that Brazil, I mean, the main products Portugal is selling to Brazil. You can see that almost 2/3, I have the percentage here of the participation of the products in the total mix of products that Portugal is selling to Brazil. And almost 2/3 is based on this top 5 list. Oils representing 33%, moving to aircraft and aerospace equipment, beverages, fish, fruits, and nuts. And just to share with you, all this information is coming from our Ministry of Development. So all of this is official information from our government. And moving to Spain, so Spain has a wider variety of products being sold to Brazil. It's a little bit more diverse, and this top 5 list represents 1/3 of the total amount sold to Brazil. And main products are refined oils, medical and pharmaceutical, along with automotive parts. And now moving to air freight information from Portugal and Spain. So in Brazil, we have access to market intelligence data where we can see everything that's being shipped to Brazil. So I wanted to share this to you. I couldn't have this translated, but out of Portugal to Brazil, the total amount of shipments is almost 9,000 shipments of air freight, with more than 7,000 tons of air freight. From Spain, we have 13,000 shipments. This is per year, okay? So 13,000 shipments per year with a total of almost 11,000 tons per year. And from both countries, the main destination is 80% the state of São Paulo. And secondly, we have Rio, and then it's spread out throughout different airports in Brazil. And moving to e-commerce in Brazil, I wanted to share this a little bit with you to explain what we have studied. And I believe the main takeaway in terms of e-commerce into Brazil, when we talk about B2C, is that Brazil is not a niche market, it's a continental market. We are a large country in terms of population. And if you were looking to sell B2C to Brazil, transit time and traceability is what you should look for. Most e-commerces are using local post offices to ship to Brazil, and the transit time can be very, very long. So it's something to be careful. And from our data, the customers who had a positive experience with delivering well the first order, the customer is twice more likely to buy again. We have also the largest market share in Brazil when we compare to the largest express companies, and this means we can offer good service to your customers. And now moving to the customs part of the presentation, I want to start with one of the reasons why we're doing this webinar, which is our customs, which is our trade agreement between Mercosur and European Union. So when we started planning this webinar, we had this in mind, and this has been in discussion and in negotiation for the past 2 decades. And finally, in April 28th, also known as last week, our president signed the decree promulgating the trade agreement between Mercosur and the European Union. The agreement enters in provision of force, meaning it is effective starting 1st of May, last Friday. And this is super hot news and not a theory anymore. The agreement is actually operational. And this will be the largest trade agreement in the world, with over 700 million people, covering 30% of the global GDP. And when you look at Brazil, Brazil is the largest and most relevant Mercosur market for European Union. And what does this mean? Brazil now is structurally more accessible. It's not overnight, but it will be permanently. And some products will have immediate 0% import tax into Brazil. So the product that used to have a specific tax will have 0 starting May, and some other products will scale down to 0 in import tax within the next 10 to 15 years. So this works both ways. So around 90% of products being produced in Brazil and Europe, Mercosur and Europe, will have 0 tax within this range of the next 10 to 15 years. And when you look at the Brazilian imports, right? So Europe shipping to Brazil, you have a reduction on import tax, and you also have the Brazilian currency valorization. So European products will look more competitive and more affordable than they used to. So it's a very good window of opportunity that just opened, right? And there is an agency in Brazil providing a dashboard where you can see the taxes, how it used to be, how it is right now, and how the tax will be reduced within the next years. And I looked after two specific commodities, so we can exemplify that to you. And later, at the end of the presentation, we're gonna share with you this link if you want. So this example is for wine with up to 2 liters per container. So the base tax for imports in this agreement is 27%. So this is what was agreed in this trade agreement. The Brazilian current rate was 18%, so it was a little bit lower than the agreement said. But starting May, from 18%, it's already 16%, and it will go down to 0% until 2034. And I also added one more product that has a little bit more drastic reduction. So this is refined soybean oil, and the base agreement established 10%. The Brazilian import tax for this product used to be 9% before May 31, and now it is 0 starting May. So you can see that this can bring a huge impact for the market. This is going to be a game changer. And now I'm going to hand over to Marcos, who will share with you a little bit more about the importing from anywhere in the world, but now we're speaking about Spain and Portugal into Brazil. Go ahead, Marcos.
Thank you, Rogério. Thank you. Yes, just a little bit more about the Mercosur and European Union agreement. When we talk about this facilitations, we are talking about having clearer rules, standardized procedures, and greater predictability comparing to today. And that's why it is important to highlight the import procedures in Brazil just to make sure that all the opportunities found are better taken advantage of. So in Brazil, we basically have 2 types of clearance modalities. The first one is the courier modality, and the second one is the formal import modality. The difference between them is the commercial purpose. For the uh, courier modality are addressed to shipments with no commercial value, with no commercial purpose. The company in Brazil will not sell, will not commercialize this material for the courier modality. And for the formal import, yes, there will be the commercial purpose. So a little bit of the difference between these two modalities. One limitation is the value of up to $3,000, which less than this value will classify the shipment as courier. And this value of $2,000 is composed by the freight value, the insurance value, and also the declared value in the invoice. So when you have a shipment less than $3,000, it will be classified as courier, which means a courier shipment cannot be more than 3,000. For the formal importation, there is basically no limitation of value. Formal imports, they can be less or they can be more than $3,000, right? This limitation is basically just for the courier modality because this modality doesn't have a commercial purpose. But for the formal importation, regardless of the value, you can import as a formal import as long as you have the commercial purpose, right? Some of the standard documentations for both modalities are the air waybill, which is generated by our platform, MyDHL, the commercial invoice, packing list, and other documentations according to the product that you are importing to Brazil. Um, DHL Express in Brazil offers the solution for the formal importation door to door, which means DHL will use its structure for picking up the shipments at your store, at your warehouse. We are going to use our network to connect the shipment down to Brazil using an airplane from DHL, specifically to one of our airports in São Paulo, an airport where DHL also has its own warehouse. So we are using our own warehouse to clear the shipments. We are also working as a broker when the customer in Brazil chooses DHL also as a broker. And at the end of this road, we also provide the last mile, which means after clearance, DHL will also deliver the shipment to the final address, to the final address. So this means that DHL can cover all the steps since the pickup of your shipment down to the delivery to the final destination in Brazil. And here in this slide, we can see more in a clear way what we mean by covering all the solution for our importers. So we pick up the shipment, we have the shipment arriving in one of our first facilities, covering everything that our global policies demand. And then we have customs clearance. We provided the international transportation for our solution in São Paulo's airport, where we have our warehouse. This shipment would arrive in our warehouse. We have different storage values. They're very, very competitive comparing to the customs warehouse in all the warehouses nationwide in Brazil. So it's really interesting opportunity for the customers to save on storage fees because when we import to Brazil, the shipment will stay held in storage at the airport until clearance be finished. So storage fees is also an important point in the calculation and benefits for the importation. It saves costs to a lot of customers, and then we provide the brokerage services, and then finally we get the final delivery done with our domestic team, right? Um, we comply with customs regulations. You have the certification of being an authorized operational part in Brazil. So we have customs certifications for that. We comply with tax and duty requirements and also specific agencies depending on the product, such as Anvisa, which is basically the FDA, United States, and also other agencies that are specifically working with food or chemicals, military equipment. Every content has their specific agency to be taken care of during the clearance process in Brazil. Important points about the importer in Brazil. There must be an importer in Brazil, and this importer must be legally registered as an importer in Brazil. There is a license called Radar in Brazil, in which the importer in Brazil must be compliant. This importer must also have access enabled to custom systems for clearance. This custom systems is called Syscomex. In order for DHL to be the broker, we gotta have the power of attorney. So this importer in Brazil will handle this power of attorney. So then you can represent the importer along with customs. The importer must be also structured with the foreign exchange banking services in order to convert, in order to have the conversion of the currencies during the clearance process, and also the harmonized tariff code. In Brazil, we call it NCM code, which is the code that represents every single content imported must also be validated by the importer, right? So this is one activity that the importer must do, which is to identify the classification code for their content, right? Um, um, the power of attorney is a digitalized documentation. Rather, imported license must be a document, must be a license that Brazilian customs will give to the importer. DHL will help you and will support you with some further information about it. Of course, that the importer must go ahead and submit its request to customs in order to become an importer, but DHL will also support on this type of information. Um, if you want to go ahead for one more slide, Rogério. Thank you. These are the agencies that will take care of the clearance process along with customs, depending on the content. So we have agencies that are specific for food and drugs. We also have agencies for telecommunication equipment, um, contents related to technology, related to mechanical equipment, agriculture and livestock products. Also have a specific agency in Brazil for clearance procedures. The army, let's say agricultural products, hazardous chemical products, wildlife animals. So this is how the structure of clearance happens in Brazil. We have customs clearing, but we also have agencies that are specialized in different type of products depending on the segment. DHL as a broker also provides supports once working as a broker in order to better facilitate the communication and the synergy between these agencies and customs, acting as a broker in order to facilitate documentation, supporting with the filling up of these documents to make the clearance happening in the fastest way possible so as to save costs on storages and fees if they happen. So this is a solution that covers from the point A to the last point, and it is really helping customers for having taking advantage of all the benefits, all the possibilities and new alternatives that our customers have, in order to provide a great experience to the customers. Thank you, Rogério.
Right. Thank you, Marcos. And as you might know, shipping to Brazil, we do have requirements. It can be complex, but I think the main what can I say? Main tip that I would give is your importer. He has his own broker, or we can be the broker, and they know what is necessary to go ahead with clearance. And if you follow the requirements, if you follow the right way, you can see that we have a lot of agencies. You do need license to import some products. You need special documentations depending on the product, and the importer will know. And if you follow the instructions, you reduce your risk a lot. Okay, so I want to finish quickly talking about Express in Brazil. And so we have over 1,000 employees, and we cover 90% of Brazilian GDP in Brazil with our capillarity. And we are established in Brazil since 1978, handling almost 6,000 customers with a fleet that also includes electric vehicles. We have around 60. And we are express company, right? So our service is the fastest available in the market, considering door-to-door service. When we talk about Spain and Portugal, we can make door-to-door imports approximately 3 to 4 days transit time. And we also have our own aircraft flying to Brazil, 6 flights per week, all right, from Miami. I think one of our greatest value propositions is our uplift capacity, as we use commercial carriers, of course, but we also have our own aircrafts, and we can navigate through peak seasons with less risk of running out of space. And we can also do all that, reducing the carbon footprint using sustainable aircraft fuel with our Go Green program. All right. And last but not least, I wanted to share something that Marcos already mentioned. We have our own warehouse at VCP Airport in Viracopos. So we are pioneers in that. And having our own warehouse at the airport means we can offer faster operation, faster clearance with very competitive rates, as we do something different than what happens in the airport. We charge our warehouse fees over weight and not cargo value. So when we combine our express service and warehouse, we have been able to reduce the import lead time for our customers drastically. All right. So in case you're interested in knowing more, there will be an email that we're going to share with the contact information after the Q&A. And now let's gather all the questions made, and Marcos and I will help each other answering. And if by any chance we do not know how to answer any of those questions, we add it to the parking lot, and then we're going to reply to you still this week with all the answers. All right. Nicolas?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So we go to the question. We start with good afternoon. I have no experience with Brazil, but I was required to send 2 samples of each of 10 kilos of frozen vegetable. If we work with DHL, what document we need to present, except invoice and packing list? You want to answer?
Yes, in order to have the importation happen with the vegetables, as far as I understand the vegetables, we also need to have be very careful with the packaging because probably there is some perishable characteristics in the content. Anvisa is the agency taking care of this type of product, depending on the vegetable, depending on the purpose of this vegetable, probably for commercial purposes. It's important to be specific in the documentation. This agency will ask for a detailed information on the product, what type of certifications they have, if there is any chemicals that must be highlighted in the documentation. There is a form that the importer in Brazil will fill in order to inform all these characteristics of this vegetable to the agency so the agency can go ahead and say, okay, it's authorized to be inserted into Brazilian territory. There is no risk. There is no any risk of contamination or so forth that this agency will validate. So this is basically one of the important points about importing vegetables is that the importer in Brazil must have all the licenses, all the local licenses, in order to be the consignee, the importer of this type of content, so as to have a smoother clearance. But we would like to be happy to give more information depending on the type of vegetable or depending on the airport that the importer will ask us to send the product so as to give more detailed information about it. But basically, this is the alerts that the importer must have in Brazil for importing vegetables.
Thank you. Yes, the rest of the question was more on time of dry ice, weight, and the transit time. But I'm sure the first thing is to have the right documentation and to have the right certificate, everything before sending the product. Otherwise, it will be stopped in the customs process and it will be lost. Thank you. Then the next, I propose if you see the next one, I will translate it because Carlos is saying I'm sending flight equipment, motor chassis is parapentes in English. I don't know what it is. I don't
It's
know.
parasail.
Huh? Sorry?
Yeah, I think I can understand. It's the same in Portuguese, parapente.
Ah, okay. So you can explain. I think the list here, there are a group of products, and if I don't make a mistake, customs are asking the full packing list and the full description of products, even if it's flight equipment. You need to split each product one by one, and the description and also the coding. You need to have the coding on of each product because it's the only way. No, I think in Brazil it will be the same. No.
Correct.
Yeah. So, you want to go ahead, Marcos?
No, go ahead, Jose. Sorry.
Yeah. So the question is that the safest way to ship to Brazil and HS code. Well, the HS code we have to be aligned. We don't have it right now, but you will also need that to exit your country of origin as well. But it is something that can be aligned with both importers and exporters. Okay, I don't see any issues shipping this type of products, especially chassis, hélices. The only thing I would be a little bit more careful is with engine, because depending on how it is set up, it can have oils and something that can be considered dangerous, and this would require different type of documentation. Anything else you would like to add, Marcos?
No, that's it. That's it. Especially for engines, anything that requires any engines, we gotta be careful with the flammable substances, because in some connections, DHL might use other airlines. So we just have to make sure that the type of product that we are picking up and transporting in our network. But basically is this, yes, Rogério.
All right.
All right. Next one, you have Nuno Enriquez, who is logistic manager. We frequently need to ship aircraft parts to support the operation at Brazil, and also we may have the need to bring out from Brazil remove part from the aircraft operation. The importation starting point of part may be from Europe or USA. How can you support our operation?
From what I understand, this would be really time sensitive. So this is very aligned with what we offer. But from my understand, that the question here is more starting point being Europe or USA, being Brazil the origin. So if you're asking about triangular shipments, we are able to provide that.
Okay. So I think it's better outside from the chat. Please contact us, and we will explain how to do the business, what we are seeing. If we go to the next one, Paula, we are selling cosmetics, and they want to know if we work with TIBA and who are doing the raw technical responsible to enter the products. That is a necessary documentation. So they want to know if you are working with TIBA or other freight forwarders in Brazil.
I don't know what TIBA is, but if
TIBA is a Spanish freight forwarder.
Okay, and the question is if we have technicians who can support with cosmetics. We have a pharmaceutical technician in Brazil, right, Marcos?
Correct. We do have a pharmaceutical area that interfaces with the agencies, federal agencies that takes care of the clearances. So normally cosmetics, they don't need refrigeration, but we are ready, and we have the structure to better serve the importer for clearing cosmetics. I'm just not sure about the airline, the freight forwarder said, but we wouldn't need it so we can cover since the pickup until the arrival, clearance, and the final delivery in Brazil. We can also act as the broker. Yes.
Okay.
It's just it's just essential just to add some more information to confirm whether this cosmetic product require prior registration, prior notification to our customs. So this is something easy to identify by the HS code. We support customers by helping them to understand these requirements upfront, reducing the risk of delays or holds in customs.
Okay, thank you. If we want to move to the next one, Pedro Rego is asking if regarding dual-use goods, no change or no changes in pipeline to occur in Brazil, right? Can you?
Sorry, Nicholas, I didn't get the question.
Can
It's
you repeat the
a
question,
question about dual-use goods. If there are changes in the pipeline to occur in Brazil. I imagine linked to Mercosur, but Mercosur is not covering dual use at all. Mercosur is opening the tariff on trade to enter new products.
New products, yes.
New product or specific family of products, but it doesn't take into account dual use goods, if I don't make a mistake.
Yeah,
Yes.
I understand you're correct.
Yeah, it's okay, no? So next one, Javier is asking, could you please share the link to the tool used to showcase the evolution of import tariff in Brazil on the upcoming years?
Yes, I will share that too. That tool is a Power BI created by the Industry Federation of São Paulo. It's a free translation that I did here, but I can share that with you after the call for sure.
Okay, thank you. Next one, Joao is asking, what is the percentage of lost shipment in delivery carried out by DHL Express under the DTP shipping method? Is purchasing additional insurance recommended?
So this question is about who pays the taxes for the importation in Brazil. Is that it? Sorry, I didn't get the question right.
Yeah, it's the percentage of lost shipment in delivery carried by DHL under DTP shipping method. Generally, DTP, the one who is paying is the shipper.
Right.
So I don't know if you have any idea. Generally, the main issue is not when it's going DTP. It's when you are sending at the destinations they don't want to pay for the custom clearance. No.
Well, that's correct. So the percentage of lost shipments in deliveries carried out by DHL under the DTP shipping method, when we talk about formal importation, which is the importation with commercial value, with commercial purpose, the importer will sell this product in Brazil, there is no DTP services. The taxes must be paid locally in Brazil. The freight, yes, the freight can be paid from anywhere, even in Brazil. But taxes, customs taxes for formal importation, they will not be done. The taxes will be paid locally and not as in a DTP method, right? For the courier express modality of clearance, when the shipment has no commercial value or no commercial purposes, samples, tests, and so on, yes, DTP shipping method can be done. The taxes can be reverted to the shipper as they wish. I'm not sure about the percentage of lost shipments in deliveries, as we have a strong initiative along with customs and customers in order to avoid the return of the shipments back to the exporter, because this increases the costs of our operation. So the idea is always to pre-alert the importers in Brazil saying, hey, there will be a importation coming up for you. This is the estimate of taxes to be paid. And if they are willing to pay or not with the payment methods, we can carry out the processing to Brazil. But this is only for the courier express modality, because they can be reverted as DTP method. But for the formal importation, the taxes must be paid here.
Okay.
Yeah, and in terms of insurance, we usually do recommend using insurance. Otherwise, there are I don't remember the name of the global agreement on the value of reimbursement. So you can be liable to a much lower value than your cargo is. I think it's the Montreal Tratado de Montreal. I think it's that. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's highly recommended.
Correct. Just to speak a little bit more about the insurance, you cannot have two insurances for one shipment. You can whether use, for example, DHL's insurance services, or the importer could have their own insurance company covering their operation. Not both insurances agreement, but just one. So the importer must choose.
Okay. So we move to the next one. Luana is asking, talking about spare parts for lift platform, for example, there is any website to consult the NCM code?
Well, there is the customs website, Brazilian customs platforms that gives a lot of support on HTS NCM validation. Of course, that this is an interpretation done by the importer. What is the product they are bringing to Brazil? But in customs website, there is a lot of information about it, so you can follow the path on how to classify, how to validate this code. So this will be an interesting channel for the importers or even the exporters to explore more about the NCM code. NCM code, which is the nomenclatura from the Mercosur, is basically the HTS code used in Europe, added by 2 or 3 more digits. So it's basically the same theory, but because of the Mercosur, you have 2 or 3 additional codes to it, but the interpretation is basically the same.
Okay, thank you. And could you send the address of the
Sure.
So we can so they can consult it. Then Baba is asking, hello, we work with Aware. Other than invoice and packing list, do we need any extra documents?
Oh, the call is a little bit blurry. I didn't quite understand that. I'm sorry, Nicholas.
Marcos, eles trabalham com óculos e além de invoice e packing list, eles precisam de algum documento extra. Acho que é preciso de saber o NCM exatamente, né?
Correct. In order for us to go ahead and say directly what is required regarding documentation, it's really important to have the NCM code, right? For some glasses, depending on the type of glass, pair of glasses, customs will require a label to be placed in the pair of glasses. So for this label, it requires further documentation. So it's important to have the classification done, so then you can have the full view of what is required.
Okay. Then we have another question from Joao, who is asking, does the printed invoice included in the shipment replace the packing list, or is it necessary to include both documents?
Both documents are required. Normally, the packing list, they bring more information about the physical aspects of the shipping, let's say dimensions, or they break down of the weight depending on how many pieces you have in the in the volume in the shipment, and the invoice will clearly states the shipper information, the importer information, delivery address, values, Incoterms. So they have different purposes. It's really important that you have both documentations, which are the basic information, the basic two documentations for every importation. They will not replace one another.
Okay. Thank you. We have more questions, but with the HS code, with the coding. So, and that's time. If you want, we make one question and the other we will answer out of the circuit, no, out of the, in order to respect the timing of the presentation. So then we have, if I want to, Leticia was asking if I want to export in vitro reagent from Spain to Brazil for exclusive laboratory use, what type of documentation I need? I think this should be outside because we have HS code 38221900, and I think it would be safer to review it and to give a in written answer if you.
Correct. Yes.
I think because
yeah. Sorry.
because it's quite complex and we need to go through the same for Gabriel who is asking, and then we have a more general documentation. A question, sorry, from Susanna, who is asking, my company has a branch in the US. I understand that under the new Mercosur agreement, it's now easier and cheaper for Brazil to import from Spain more than from the US. Is that correct?
Well, we will have all customs from European Union and Mercosur aligning things, making rules clearer. So and gradually taxes will be exempt in the next years, let's say. So there will come a time, in depending on the product, that it will be easier, smoother to have a importation coming to Brazil comparing to the type of product that you are bringing from the United States. If I understand correctly the question,
Yeah, that's it. But then we have more detail because as info, we export automotive parts, metal brackets, belt, pulley from fitting cooling system in vehicles. I think here it's the same. In order to make a good evaluation, we will need also the HS code to understand to be able to compare. Correct. Because I think it's the only way to compare the tariff on trade from US and the tariff on trade from Europe for the same product. Otherwise, it's not possible to really in theory, yes, but we need to make professional evaluation between both to make sure we are giving the right response. So
can I complement, Nicolas?
Sorry?
Can I complement?
Yes, of course. Please do.
Okay. Yeah. So exactly as Nicolas mentioned, we cannot say that it's going to be cheaper than from USA, but it could be cheaper than what it is today if the NCM, if the specific code is included in the agreement, right? Because there are exceptions. So in theory, it could be cheaper. In theory, we should have better a flow between shipments between the Mercosur and European Union. Okay, but to be precise, it's necessary to have the NCM code. Do you take one more, Nicolas?
Yes, there is the last one.
Okay.
Is there any web where it's possible to enter an NCM code and to know all the duties and tariff related to that code? like Tariq in the European Union, or CBP in USA. I think it will be linked to what say Marcus, to go directly to the customs information in Brazil. I think if you have the full, or also you can use DHL Express Global Trade Services when you can find your where you can find the HS code, and then to have an estimation of the cost, full landing cost, when you are sending something to Brazil. But I think the key here is to have the correct NCM code, no?
Correct, Nicholas.
Yes.
The NCM code will tell you everything needed to have the importation happening. I will send you guys the website from customs that support and give the importer a preview of what documentation is required, what risky points there might be for the product to be imported. So it is a website from customers that is continuously upgraded and updated depending on the change in the process. And then I will give you guys this one and other additional websites for support.
Okay.
Right. Nicolas, can I do the closing?
Yes, of
On
course.
my part?
Please.
Okay, perfect. So I just wanted to add some things because Nicolas and we are from the commercial side, and many of these questions, the answers can be very superficial, but I think the most important thing is there will be an email, and I can show you right now. And we decided to use this email to channel all the questions, all the informations, and if you want to further discuss anything with us. Obviously, we're going to gather all the questions so we can reply to all of them within this week, all right? But if you want further explanation, just like the one with the aircraft parts, this is something really complex, and of course, you're going to need a sales representative working together with you to design a solution. And just to recap, I have one thing I forgot to mention about our warehouse in Brazil. This year, we have a special condition that you will have the first day free of charges. So 1 day free time, and most of customers are not using the second day, so they are going free of warehousing charges at the airport if they're going with us, with our warehouse. So now, thanks again for joining our webinar. It is an honor to present to you. If you want to discuss any of the topics in more depth, I already mentioned the email. So thank you, Nicolas. Pedro, thank you very much, Marcos, and thank you everyone who joined. Muito obrigado, muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias a todos. Os mandaremos un email con la dirección donde vamos a colgar este webinar que hemos grabado, junto con las respuestas a las preguntas. Y si tienen más preguntas, por supuesto, pueden contactar su asesor comercial de DHL Express, y también y si hay cualquier tema muy específico, conectamos directamente con el equipo de Brasil para que nos den una respuesta completa sobre lo que necesitan. Muchísimas gracias por su participación. Espero que haya sido útil, y al próximo webinar. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.